for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. The Inspector General's office's latest audit paints an ugly picture of the Economic Development Authority's lending practices. The report released Tuesday says that millions of taxpayer dollars have been lost through bad loans. And while the EDA's board's chair doesn't dispute the fact, he says there are certain things that need to be made clear. News 2's Erica Parsons has that story.
Almost 85% of the Economic Development Authority's fiscal year 2010 portfolio for 9 loan programs is delinquent. That's according to an audit released April 2nd by the VI Inspector General. The report found 4 areas of deficiencies when it came to the loan application process, loan servicing, delinquencies, and reporting. The EDA's board chair says they welcome the report.
We actually requested the report because we always like to take a look at our programs to see whether they're successful and where our opportunities are to improve.
The IG's report says $8.5 million of the $10.5 million loan portfolio is bad debt. EDA officials pointed out that they do take on higher risks.
One of the things that was explained to me on first coming on the board when I took over as chair, because I had the same concerns, was the Government Development Bank is there to do just that, development. And because of this, we take large risks on loans that would normally not be capitalized by a conventional bank. So a lot of the times when we take these loans, we have to look at who the person is, what their credit report is, what their business plan looks like, and then make a decision not based on what you can see on paper, but our knowledge of the market and whether or not that business person can succeed. Some of our loans are actually legislatively mandated that we can't take collateral.
They also inherited a lot of bad debt.
A lot of these loans are from before 2001, so we inherited a lot of bad debt from the SBDA. We took those loans on and they remain a part of our portfolio.
But the audit also blames a lot of the issues on poor practices, especially collection efforts. The IG says though some loans are old and borrowers dead, several loans are still collectible, and they listed prominent business people and one former and current senator as delinquents. EDA CEO Percival Clouden told the Daily News Wednesday he'll be working to get that money back. All but 2 of the 15 recommendations made by the IG have been resolved. Those are getting in agreement with the credit bureaus to start reporting delinquencies and getting the banking board to examine their banking operations.
I'd like to say that the EDA has had an unqualified audit from an independent auditor of our books for the last 5 years without any findings at all. That's our general programs. We take great pride as a board and as an agency in making sure that we deliver a quality product to the Virgin Islands and we take care of the people's money.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
The EDA audit and other audits done by the Inspector General's office can be found on their website at www.viig.org. The St. Croix District Board of Elections met on Wednesday for their scheduled monthly meeting. According to board member Raymond Williams, board chair Delbert Bryan handed out a number of assignments. Rupert Ross was placed in charge of the in-school voter registration drive. Lisa Harris-Moorhead was tasked with putting together the election year calendar to comply with the MOVE Act. And Glenn Webster will find out what the St. Croix Elections Office needs to make sure they're ADA compliant. The board voted to pass a motion by member Roland Molinar that says the St. Croix District will vote by paper ballots if new voting machines aren't purchased by September. One member said that decision would have to be made legislatively. The 30th Legislature has until tomorrow, Friday, April 5th, to respond to the Superior Court of the Virgin Islands regarding a lawsuit filed by Senator at-large Craig Barshinger. The plaintiff, Barshinger, is seeking a reimbursement of some $46,000. News 2's Erica Bivens has more on this continuing story.
In January 2011, Senator-at-large Craig Barshinger filed a lawsuit against the VI legislature. Citing VI code, he sued for a reimbursement of some $46,000 from the 26th, 28th, and 29th legislatures.
What I would like to do is simply get the money which I advanced to the legislature, which were for expenses which were reasonable and customary, and for which all other senators were being reimbursed. And they're all completely itemized and available on my website at visenate.org.
The defendants, the legislature, issued a motion to dismiss in December. However, that was denied. Barshinger countered with another motion.
I filed a motion to continue the case on March 18th and requesting that the court take no further action on the case until January 15th. And that was to give the legislature a chance to settle this without a lot of legal expense.
On March 19th, Judge Michael Dunstan ordered the legislature to respond to Barshinger's motion by April 5th. The order says the parties shall each specifically detail in their response or reply their efforts to resolve this dispute since the formation of the 30th legislature. Barshinger says ideally they can settle out of court, and despite the previous legislature trying to dismiss his case, he has a more optimistic outlook for the 30th legislature.
The way that voters used their votes in this last election was to create a legislature of legislators who I perceive as being committed to transparency and openness and thrift and proper spending of public money. So that goal has really been advanced, and time will tell, but I'm very optimistic on that front.
Barshinger says he had two goals, one to be reimbursed and two to adopt new rules in the Senate to prevent this from happening again.
And I believe that that has happened naturally through the course of the events. So it's a pretty simple matter if the legislature wants to settle. And if they don't, we will, of course, go through with the lawsuits.
For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
Senator Barshinger has until April 12th to file a reply to the legislature's response due on Friday. News 2 will keep you updated. Innovative is continuing its upgrades throughout the territory, and the focus this month is in the Contant and Frenchtown areas of St. Thomas. The company has been working on an accelerated pace to complete a new hybrid fiber optic coaxial network. The modernization project was unveiled more than a year ago, and it will improve the quality of telephone, cable TV, and high-speed internet while adding new communication services. The new service is available in 21 areas in St. Thomas and 15 areas on St. Croix. Innovative is the parent company of CBS TV2. Well, Crimestoppers says be part of the solution. Continue to help make our islands a safe place to visit. Live and visit. Call 1-800-222-TIPS if you have any information that can help with ongoing investigations, or log on to www.crimestoppersusvi.org to learn more. Let's take a look at this week's Crimestoppers Report. On St. Croix, police say on Sunday, March 17th, about 2:40 a.m., a man was robbed at gunpoint while he was standing outside a residence where a party was being held. On March 22nd, about 10:30 a.m., a man sitting on his back porch was robbed at gunpoint. Now, both of these robberies occurred in the Estate Barron Spot area by a masked man with a black handgun. In both cases, the men had their gold necklaces and cash stolen. Over on St. John, police say on Friday, February 24th at 11 p.m., a man reported he was at Bayside Grocery in Cruz Bay speaking to a Hispanic man in a dark blue Equinox when a white male driving a beige SUV reversed into him, pinning him between the two cars. Both of the vehicles left the scene and the victim suffered severe injuries. And on St. Thomas, Ms. Linda Batiste received a court order giving her temporary legal and physical custody of her 6-year-old grandson, KJ Ian Farrell Harris. According to the order, neither of his parents has the right to take him from his grandmother without a written order from the court. Ms. Batiste allowed KJ to visit his mother, Ms. Tanya Harris, over the weekend of March 9th and 10th. The child has not been returned to the grandmother. Please help locate KJ. Take a look at that photo. Charles Ogletree Jr., a mentor to U.S. President Barack Obama and attorney to Henry Louis Gates Jr., is the keynote speaker of the University of the Virgin Islands Alfred O. Heath Distinguished Lecture Series that's going on tonight, started at 6 p.m. He's speaking on the topic, the impact of President Obama's re-election on gun violence in the Virgin Islands, at the Reichel Center for the Arts on St. Thomas at the UVI's campus tonight. And then tomorrow it's April 5th in the Great Hall on the Albert Sheen campus in St. Croix. Ogletree is the Harvard Law School Jesse Klemenko Professor of Law and a prominent legal theorist. He's known for taking a hard look at the complex issues of law and by working to secure the rights guaranteed by the Constitution for everyone equally under the law. Well, a late night for Connecticut lawmakers inside the Capitol, their historic vote ending a long day and even longer process, a call for change that began back on December 14th with the memory of Sandy Hook still on their minds. The bill passed overwhelmingly in both the Senate and the House. Legislators voted to expand the ban on assault weapons and also limit the future sale of large ammunition magazines to 10 rounds. Gun owners will now be required to register their weapons and ammunition, And for the first time ever, it requires background checks for all sales, a sticking point many gun right advocates for a sticking point. North Korea is issuing more threats, this time moving missile launches and approving a strike against the United States. We get more from Danielle Nottingham at the White House.
North Korean TV shows thousands turning out in the rain at rallies across the country. Demonstrators are denouncing the United States and South Korea. The North has increased its threats, saying the military has the go-ahead to use nuclear weapons against the United States. North Korea has reportedly moved some of its missile launchers to its east coast, while the U.S. is sending a missile defense system to nearby Guam.
When you have a country that is making the kinds of bellicose threats that they are making and taking the steps that they are taking, and when you have allies and treaty commitments, you have to take it seriously. You don't have any other choice.
Most experts do not believe North Korea can make good on its threats of a nuclear attack. The Obama administration says it's continuing diplomatic efforts to ease tensions, and Secretary of State John Kerry is heading to the region next week. The increase in tensions between North and South Korea is impacting the economy in both places. South Korean workers were kept from going to their jobs at factories just over the border in North Korea for a second straight day. Danielle Nottingham, News 2.
And keeping our eye on the economy, after months of speculation, Facebook did not unveil its own phone, but rather new software for Android phones. The idea behind the new home service is to bring content like Instagram and Facebook Messenger right to you rather than require you to check apps on the device. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all up. The Dow 55, Nasdaq 6, S&P 6. Coming up on News 2, 1 penny, a world of difference. Your spare pennies count. Find out how and where you can drop them off to make a huge difference. Plus, there's a lot of hammering, sawing, and nailing going on near the Roosevelt VI Veterans Memorial Park. Some call it the preparation for the best seat in the house for Carnival. Preparations are underway to transform part of Main Street in Charlotte into the site for the big events, Carnival parades. Workers are getting down to business, working swiftly to get this reviewing stand next to the Franklin D. Roosevelt VI Veterans Memorial Park in Charlotte up and ready. The covered stand is for the seniors to watch the Carnival parade along Main Street. Some even call it the best seats along the parade route. Those dates, of course, for the parades are April 26th and 27th. Good job to all who are working hard to get those decorations and lights up for the big celebration. Well, it's that time again. First Friday's Business Expo is being held tomorrow, April 5th, at Megan's Point Resort. The event will benefit the St. Thomas Swimming Association, a nonprofit that is in need of financial support. The event takes place from 5 p.m. until 8, and there will be free food, giveaways, and live music, all for a good cause.
It comes at a great time for us because we are in need of funds, of course. And we have a raffle, $2 raffle, that is going to help our program. The St. Thomas Swimming Association is really geared to provide swimming to the people of the Virgin Islands, especially our young people. It takes a village to raise a child, but it takes the community to support the Swimming Association.
Well, Etana fans and the media were in for a treat a day before the concert. Last Friday, they had the opportunity to meet the musician at the music shop in Havenside. They had the opportunity to experience a pre-show, take some photos, and hear a little bit about the concert in store. Then Saturday, it was a packed house at the Reichel Center. Etana debuted on the reggae scene in 2008 with her breakout hit Roots and quickly built a catalog of conscious music and even a massive fan base. Her debut CD, The Strong One, was highly successful with hits like I Am Not Afraid, Blessings, and Don't Forget. Delegate Donna Christensen has announced the deadline for the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, Inc. The internship has been extended for VI applicants. The summer session takes place from May 26th through July 27th. Applications are available at the delegate's office. The new deadline is April 26. The CBCF Congressional Internship Program was established in 1986 and provides college undergrads with a behind-the-scenes look into the democratic process. Interns will receive a $3,000 stipend, housing, and possibly academic credit. For more information, you can jot down this number, 202-226-7980. Well, candidates who have made significant contributions in the field of spirituality, health, politics, and education, women who do things not looking for recognition but made a huge impact, that is what the upcoming Unsung Sheroes Project 2014 is planning to include. Griot Live Films, in collaboration with Virgin Islands Humanities Council and National Endowment for Humanities, is filming a documentary. Candidates will be selected from St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix, living or ancestral. The essay that you should submit should consist of 250 to 300 words on why you feel this person should be selected. The deadline is April 30th, 2013. You can email all submissions to unsungsherosvi@gmail.com, or you can call 340-643-5851. A penny may only be worth 1 cent, but the Nigel O. Hodge Foundation says we'll take it. For the entire month, they are doing a penny drive every Friday and Saturday. Now, these pennies will assist sick children and their families in need in our community.
Saturday, we're going to be at the post office. There's a post office at Estate Amos and the post office at Frenchtown Community Center, right across there. We're going to be there tomorrow. We're asking everybody to come, bring your coins. We're going to have a big jar that holds all, the coins you can have. You can bring, if you don't have coins, you can bring $1. Bring your pennies. The Nigel Lloyd Foundation can use every cent because we expect and we will continue to help children that have needs in our community.
Tell me a little bit about some of them. Organizers are encouraging you to make it a workplace project or even a school project. Get a big bottle and collect coins, then call Mrs. Hodge at 777-9530 to pick them up. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.